And let's be very clear. Like social media has changed the game, right? Like it's all about flash. It's all about instant gratification. I've seen it firsthand with my son. He's an influencer. He's the one who kind of pushed me into social media when I didn't even know what it was. And, seeing these young folks function on that channel and that medium is just shocking. It's just absolutely shocking. And
Yeah.
the sense of reality is very, very fuzzy, right? Like it it's problematic. I think there's more cons to it than good.
Yeah. And that we had a girl on the show a couple of weeks ago. So she was in her 20s. She's a realtor. So we were kind of hoping that she would give us the right answer, which was that all her friends are all now, you know, share like having roommates and living down their lifestyle and making sure that their expenses are kept at a minimal. And we didn't get the right answer. It was just like, no, people are, you know, dining at Harbor 60 and they're driving nicer cars and they all want a $3,000 a month condo and stuff like that. And it's just
Auto
like,
service at the
man. So
club.
next generation, all right. So now we got to start talking to the 10-year-olds. They're our hope. The 20-year-olds, they're not there. But
It's
hopefully
interesting.
I
the
think
teens
people
will
are going
do
to
it
get
for us.
forced to get there pretty fast.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It's interesting because my son, I think I told you this, Darryl, when we were on a phone call, but he's the one who told me to stop doing TV.
Yeah.
And he said, Dad, you got to stop. I've been doing it for 19 years, right? So he goes, Dad, you got to stop doing this. I said, why would I stop doing TV? Like it works. The phone rings, I think, and everybody's looking for me. And he says, well, Dad, nobody my age knows what a cable bill is. Everybody streams. Take your show onto social media. I said, well, how the hell do I do that? He goes, well, I'll show you. He bought me the light and the thing, put the phone in, and he goes, just talk to people like you do on the show. I said, yeah, but your age, like, why would you want to listen to an old guy? Right? Like I got white hair for crying out loud. He goes, well, don't talk like a dad. He goes, lose your suit, lose your tie, and talk to us like you want to help us. And I'm like, I still don't get it. How am I going to connect with you guys? He goes, think of Back to the Future. Nobody my age knows or has the experience you have. So help us. Help us learn how to save. Help us learn how to buy a house. And he gave me some pointers and said, just don't wear a suit and don't be a dad. And educate. And I think financial literacy, everybody talks about it, nobody does it. And it's so important. These young folks need to understand how to save. I think many of them are very good at it. And the ones that love to live a lifestyle they can't afford are posting pictures on social media. The bottle service that you talked about, the partying it up. That's not the reality, right? Every picture's probably taken 10 times to get the perfect one, right lighting. Like it's almost a joke. Like why people have to post everything they eat all of a sudden doesn't make any sense to me. Right. But
And here we are, all of us.
It's there.
listen,
It works. This is the thing.
We provide some
It works.
value. Like I think, if there's one thing I like about social media is that you get immediate engagement. People really appreciate your content and they want help and they're sincere and the immediacy of it.
Immediacy and the varying opinions and the different insights.
I
You know how
think
many
that helps
times
them.
my mind has been blown just in like the comments section here where it's been like, oh, yeah, it actually might be like that. That's an interesting point. Holy cow, I never would have thought about that if it weren't for the comment section of this, ridiculous YouTube show. But I mean, I learned so much just by doing this and by being in touch with people like you and TK all the time. Like on Twitter, like you get information before anybody has information if you're following the right people. Like this is an age where if you use the stuff correctly, it can be a huge lever, like huge leverage, right? Because I mean, it doesn't cost anything but our time, right? And we all really know what our time's really worth. So there's not much of a cost to putting this stuff out there, but the returns can be exponential. But you could also fleece a lot of people if you were that kind of personality, right?
Well, absolutely. And you know, I feel 20 years younger doing this stuff on social media, and I'm learning every day. You know, you listen to Twitter Space, you're always picking up a couple nuggets of info if you're on the right ones.
Yeah.
And you know, the social media, that engagement for me is what lights my fire. You know, you have people who reach out and they need help, and they're in trust. They want to trust you to give them some help.
Yeah.
And I have all the time in the world for them. Like after each of my shows, I'm on Instagram for at least 90 minutes to 2 hours responding to folks.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And they appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it may not necessarily result in a transaction today, but you know, I've had people that have reached out and said, you know, my buddy watches you all the time. He said, I got to call you.
Yeah.
And can you help me out? And that's what I get the satisfaction from, you know, is people appreciate the content. They give me ideas to talk about. And it's so different from TV, which was so controlled. And you don't realize how controlled it really is until you're at it, right? Like
let's not even go there right now.
And you then realize it's just a fucking clusterfuck.
Oh,
it's an efficiency. So social media is an efficiency, right? TV, I got to watch that guy. Okay, I've heard him now for 10 minutes. Do I like it? Okay, I learned something. All right, that was worth it. All right, this guy now, I'm going to watch that whole half an hour. I'm like, oh, you know what? I never really got what I wanted. But social media, it's like you got to just bounce around and you get the ideas from people, whether it be the Twitter Space or YouTube or TikTok or however it is. But it means that you get to absorb information faster, pick and choose which one is more relevant. And then as the professional, you get to reach people in a faster way. Like for you to talk, I don't know how many people you talk to in 90 minutes, but that's way less time than it would take you to have all those people come and see you at your office and talk to them and give that same advice.
And
right? Like
same fuzzy feeling.
It saved you a day's worth of work.
Yeah.
Right?
And now you're connected.
The best advice I ever got was from my son, who said, Dad, whatever you do, don't talk about mortgages.
Don't talk about mortgages.
He said, whatever you do, don't talk about mortgages. Nobody gives a shit about a mortgage.